What up, y'all? Welcome to the nation. I'm your host, the tour guide, president, and the king around here. I'm the landlord, owner, tenant, janitor, I'm off the damn floor. With you, if you don't follow the rules. The rules are you gotta like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell for all notifications. If you're trying to be a taxpaying citizen of the nation, leave us a super thanks or a cash app or super thanks, depending on where you know the stuff. Spell things right when you in here. You know what I'm saying? It's helter skelter, not helter skelter. It's A's and H's, no E's and O's. It's monster, not monster. It's an A, no E and O. It's BCC, not BBC. Yikes. Pause. All right. Listen, we pause practitioners over here. I try to keep it down to a minimum, but it's fun to me. Don't. Anyway, so I'm here to talk about some more of this. The Diddy responses, like the Diddy uh backlash, the Diddy Doc responses and backlashes, and just the fallout from the documentary. I've been noticing a lot of stuff. Um, something I forgot to, something I've been meaning to mention. I saw somebody, and it's a blogger that I rock with. I don't, I don't mean him no harm. So, Big Ant, the spokesman, when he in his vlog about the whole Diddy situation, he made a pretty adamant statement in regards to 50 Cent saying that he had to do this because if he didn't do this, if he didn't make this documentary, people, the outsiders would think that hip hop is cool with this. And he's like, he vehemently disagrees with that. And I just need this. I want to say I vehemently disagree with him respectfully. You know what I mean? Like, you know, from the inside of the industry, when see when we started to see all, we heard rumors, we heard all kinds of rumors about the industry. Like, everybody inside the industry ain't privy to all of the activities of the industry, but you hear stories. You know what I'm saying? And the higher up you go in the industry, the crazier the stories get. And when all of this stuff started to blow up long before the documentary, and you start to hearing all of the things that's going on at these, allegedly going on at these parties, you know, and all of the people, you start putting two and two to go. As a person who lived in the industry, I know for a fact myself and at least a few other rappers who never got that big, pause, as a rapper, came to a conclusion or a epiphany or a moment of truth in themselves, within themselves, where they said, "I'm glad I didn't blow up," because it seemed like that was on the other side of the blow up. And it started to seem like the only people who blow up are people who are willing to accept certain stuff. I mean, granted, when you sign to a major label, you are being violated. Not physically, not schmexually, all of that, not necessarily. But in the contract, you being violated from the rip, and that's across the board. Anybody with a fair contract is an outlier, an anomaly. That's not it. That's not the norm. An asterisk, sir. You understand what I'm saying? So that is across the board. Across the board. And the games, I'm a firm believer in the fact that the games that Puffy, those, not to disrespect nobody by calling it a game, because serious business, serious foul business or whatever that he's, accused of, and all these things his name has been attached to. That's serious business right there, right? And I believe, just me, I believe, and which was kind of alluded to in the documentary, he learned that game from somebody. And that somebody probably learned that game from somebody. So yes, there is a pattern throughout the industry. Now, if somebody like myself and some other rappers that I follow and respect, if we could all come to that conclusion where it's like, that's really all on that's the only thing on the other side. Like, if I was willing to, what I'm saying, disrespectionize my manhood, then I'd have been fine. All of the diamonds and houses and riches, and you understand what I'm saying? So yes, I do think that it is, it is important for somebody to from within hip hop to participate in something like that. I get what I get 50's point. I get what he's saying. And salute to Big Ant the spokesman, as I rock with his content. I just feel like on this particular thing, I have a little bit of perspective that he may not have. So, to the little bro, I'm just, adding a little bit of perspective. Forgive me, y'all. I am gruffing my home. My brother mentioned it to me on the phone just a few minutes ago. He's like, "Yo, I noticed your last few blogs. I'm saying you ain't had no shape, but I'm trying to do something different. Look, for the past 15, maybe even 20 years, I've damn near had the exact same face. Like, the goatee, this, the little afro on the chin, none of this. I always cut, you know what I'm saying? And I'm trying to see if it'll grow. See what happened. I might cut this off. Go back to that. That used to be how I used to rock. But anyway, I looked at myself and seen all this gruff and got distracted. Gruff Daddy, speaking about Puff Daddy. Anyway, I'm hearing that a lot of companies and whatnot are backing away from from Diddy family or whatever business ventures he had going on. And yeah. Like they was planning on working with him. They was planning on like, okay, here's the impression I'm getting. After he basically won the case, right? Because he got sent. Yeah, he got convicted of the what he got convicted of, but it still feels like a win. You know what I mean? Considering all of the things he was up against. So, and these were the least serious, joints on his line of charges. A lot of companies were still willing to build up with him, build with him and his family. You know what I mean? Like one of his, the son that raps, he was supposed to. I'm hearing, the plan was for him to pursue more of that. You know what I'm saying? The daughters was supposed to be, I mean, somebody, I think, somebody, the kids, they were supposed to be, somebody within the kids, they were supposed to be, resurging Sean John and all that, the clothing line and all of that. And that was, they had a little contingency plan, but it's like the all of the companies are backing away from the situation now. And yeah, that's kind of what happens. It's kind of what happens. Listen, Puffy blacklisted a lot of people. None of this should be a surprise to him. You know what I'm saying? He knows how this goes. I mean, allegedly. I mean, I believe he he blacklisted a lot of folks. You know what's crazy though? One of the craziest responses out there has been from Mr. Diddy himself. And that is the one where he decided to send a bouquet of flowers to wherever 50 Cent was making an appearance at. Not just flowers, daisies, right? I didn't even peep that it was daisies at first. The people in the vlogosphere, they highlighted it, pointed it out. And I'm like, this nigga really ain't got no chill. I feel like that has always that's been Diddy's biggest mistake in all of this. Is he thinks people are stupid. He thinks that he can do whatever whatever it is he want to do, and the people are not going to pick up on it. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I understand, like, listen, I understand him feeling the way he feel. You know what I mean? I understand him feeling like, listen, if I was Diddy, I would be angry at 50 Cent too. I would probably want to some do him harm as well. And you get that urge. You want to tell him that. You know what I'm saying? You want to let him know. You want to point your finger at him. You want to tell him that. So you can't tell him that. What's the most boss, flamboyant fly in your mind? What's the? Because you want to make us. What is going through? I think I just broke my brain trying to rationalize this right here. Like, how you do that, B? You think you're going to do that and nobody's supposed to read it the right way? Okay. Maybe you do that because you know that you're not planning on doing nothing, right? This is what like that's how I feel about all of the people who be arguing and fighting on the internet, talking, cussing and fussing at somebody. You ain't going if you really was going to do something, you would not be talking about it here, right? But then again, granted, a lot of people, the YNs have done a lot of that. You understand what I'm saying? But the whole time in Diddy's existence, he was not trying to be loud about his gangster. On camera, he was all about the fun. He was all about the business. He was all about the music when the cameras was on, right? All about the fun, all about the business, all about the music. When Tupac was waging war on Bad Boy, so on and so forth. They were quiet. Any disses that they threw back at Death Row was subliminal. You know what I'm saying? They was like, no, we can't nah, we just here to have a party. That was the song sung that was the song son sang when he was in public. Meanwhile, the stories say he was doing grimy stuff. You understand what I'm saying? So blowing up people's cars, putting out all of these things allegedly, right? So why all of a sudden would he be blatant right now? Daisies are symbolic. Where pushing up daisies. They're synonymous with unalivedness. Why would you send that kind of message unless you're not really planning on doing nothing? You just putting up, this you just posing, right? This is just cosmetics right now. That makes sense to me. I think I just figured it out. I broke my brain, put it back together. That makes sense. But it still make you look bad. You understand what I'm saying? I'm not that many people watch my vlog, so this ain't gonna help you, right? Ain't nobody else gonna figure out or think of what I just now thought of. Nobody's gonna think that the only reason you would do that is because you're not really gonna do nothing. And that's the only thing you can do and still look tough or try to look tough. What y'all think? Meanwhile, 50 responding like, what? Nigga, I'm 90s grimy. Don't warn me. You better piss. Piss. Oh yeah. A few of y'all kind of yelled at me in the comments about in my last vlog for not mentioning the fact that Helter Skelter is on the new Eric Sermon album, Dynamic Duos and all of that. Speaking of Eric Sermon, who was in the documentary, put a fist in the air, put a fist in the comments if that Eric Sermon story confused, shocked, and appalled you as well as it did me. I was shocked and appalled and confused. But yeah, I forgot about that. I forgot about the song because it was recorded a while back. You know what I mean? Extremely, it was quite some time back. I almost thought, you know what I'm saying? Nigga scrapped the verse. You know what I'm saying? Cause I was very recently trying to remember that verse. I was like, I know I had a Shirley from What's Happening punchline floating around out there, and I was like, where is that verse? What did I say on that? And then I remembered I put it on the I gave it on the Eric Sermon song, and but I'm like, that shit ain't out yet. It might not be. I think he put out a Dynamic Duos album already. You know what I'm saying? And maybe it ain't make the cut. Man, I was about to use that. You know what I'm saying, nigga? You know what I'm saying, nigga? It's this close. But anyway, salute to Eric Sermon. Salute to my brother Sean P. Sean lives on. I didn't hear P verse before I put my verse on there. That's why I went so hard because I was nervous. Because my boy is a beast. You know what I'm saying? And we have a rule: do not be the corny one on the song. So I didn't. You know what I'm saying. But anyway, salute to all of my citizens, all of y'all in the chat, Monster Nation. We out here. I'll be back. I realized that doing just going live is way easier than doing vlogs and editing them and all of that because it'd be taking too long, this, that, and the third. So this is way less work. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna just be doing more of that. So look forward to that. And yeah, pause protesters, get your ass out of here. Rest of y'all, welcome to the nation. I'll holler at y'all later. Rock on, rock going.